Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Before we get into today's video, I wanted to remind you all to follow EP Official on all of our social media links, including Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. The Instagram and TikTok are both ran by separate people, but I am in full control of the Twitter, so make sure you go follow each of the links in the description down below. Now let's get into today's video. Today we're going to be looking at the 2020 election map between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, based on donations in every state. The New York Times recently released this article tracking the number of donors by zip code and by state from April through June. Keep in mind that this is an estimate and is rounded to the nearest 100. As you can see here are all of the states in which Biden leads Trump in overall estimated donors, and here are all of the states in which Trump leads Biden. I have created two separate maps based on the same set of data. The first one is based on just the raw difference in estimated donors between the Joe Biden campaign and the Trump campaign, which is the furthest column to the right. I based all of the classifications of these states as follows. 30,000 or more in difference is safe, 15 to 30,000 is likely, 3 to 15,000 is lean, and anything from 0 to 3,000 is tilt. As you see here, the map looks extremely favorable for former Vice President Joe Biden. He holds 328 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 210. There are a few more important things to note and analyze when looking at this map. The first thing is that really jumps out to you is how little deep red there is on the entire map. Texas is the only state labeled as safe Republican, and Florida is the only state labeled as likely. A plurality of states in which Trump leads in are considered tilts based on this raw total. This includes some of the most conservative states in America, like West Virginia, Wyoming, Arkansas, and Idaho. On the flip side, the map doesn't necessarily have as much deep blue as you would be used to seeing either. States like Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Vermont are surprisingly labeled as just lean. Hawaii also is shockingly only labeled as tilt. The reason for all of this is that the raw difference in total estimated donors isn't weighted based on the ratio or percentile difference between both campaigns. This disproportionately affects states with smaller populations. For example, a state like South Dakota. Trump won the state by 30 points in 2016, but is labeled as tilt on this map. So how can that be? Well, there are only a total of 5,300 estimated donors from South Dakota, compared to a whopping total of 219,000 in Florida. When actually comparing the ratio between the two numbers in South Dakota, a little over 60% of donors have donated to the Donald Trump campaign, a more than safe margin in any normal analyzation of election results. So, the second map I have for you today is a far more accurate representation of the landscape of donations for both campaigns. Obviously, it does remain a 328 to 210 electoral advantage for Joe Biden, but the margins and the classifications of states have dramatically changed. That being said, there's still plenty to look at and analyze in this map. For one, the state of Pennsylvania, one of the most crucial swing states in the 2020 election, is classified as a safe state for Joe Biden. That is because of the 111,000 donations to either campaign, 66,000 of them have gone to the Joe Biden campaign. That is nearly 60%. Virginia, Minnesota, Colorado, and New Hampshire are all also labeled as safe, despite being considered relatively competitive states this November. The state of North Carolina is also likely blue, with Biden racking in over 56% of donations there. That's a significant development to look at, given North Carolina's reputation as one of the most competitive states this presidential election cycle. Wisconsin is also surprisingly rated to the left of Michigan, with a little over 55% of donations going to Joe Biden in Wisconsin, as compared to a little under 52% going to his campaign in Michigan. Another surprise is that Georgia tilts very, very slightly to the left, even though Texas and Florida remain in the Republican column by likely and lean margins respectively. Arizona also comes in as lean Republican despite the rapid trend towards the left in polling data and demographics there. So it's not all bad for the Trump campaign necessarily. He leads by a likely margin in Nevada, a state heavily considered to be in the likely column for the Democrats. And finally, I suppose the final note would be that Biden leads by tilt margins in both Iowa and Ohio, states he doesn't need to win, but polling is becoming more and more favorable for him there nonetheless. And that about does it for today's video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, as well as check out loads of other content across the channel. And tune in next time.